Hello again. Today is Saturday, March the 14th, 2020, and it's about 4 o'clock my time, forgive me, and here in Paducah, Kentucky, my home, talk about the coronavirus. That seems to be first and foremost on everybody's minds these days. For the most part, it's been fairly civil around here, although there is a panic, because now I read that in the news online that there's 14 confirmed coronavirus cases now in the state of Kentucky, possibly 20. I'm reading this one particular online news article that I get through my telephone, my cell phone. So there's possibly upwards of 20 cases, but at least 14 of those cases have been confirmed now. And I'm hearing too online, Twitter and Facebook and things like that, how in a lot of these states there's been fights breaking out, people fussing and fighting over toilet paper, and like Costco and Sam's Club and stuff like that, Whole Foods, pretty bad. But for the most part, what I've been hearing, everybody's been fairly civil here in the state of Kentucky, Commonwealth of Kentucky, where I am for right now. But there is a run on the essentials, the toilet paper, the Lysol, etc. I know I was out yesterday out at Sam's Club and out at Walmart here, two main stores in this area, two big stores, Sam's Club. Zero toilet paper, not even paper towels to be had in Sam's Club. No bleach, no Lysol, no Clorox wipes. Bread totally and completely all but wiped out. I got 4 loaves, 2 for my parents who I live just down the street from, and 2 for myself and another family member of cinnamon raisin bread, which was pretty good. It turned out to be pretty good. And that was pretty much it, aside from flour tortillas and like the store, the in-house made bread, like brown and serve rolls, and like I don't necessarily know what you'd call them, biscuits or muffins or whatever, and they're not really croissants, but it was in-house bread, and that really wasn't moving, and I think that was because of the price. I hesitate to use the word price gouging against Sam's Club and Walmart, but I think they might be playing a little fast and loose with some of the dollar amounts for things that normally would probably be $2 or $3 a loaf or a package on a good day. But this was like $6, $7, $8 a loaf or a package, almost $9. So people weren't going to go for that. And they weren't really going to go for what I went for, which was the cinnamon raisin bread, which was $4 a loaf. And that turned out to be far better than what I thought it would be, especially for a turkey pastrami sandwich. It was sort of like Thanksgiving between 2 slices of bread. Tasted pretty good last night. and had that, and had Doritos, corn chips, and coffee, black coffee, for dinner last night. It was pretty good. But in that regard and respect, toilet paper gone, paper towels gone, Clorox bleach gone, Clorox wipes gone, Lysol gone, and I go over to Walmart and the tissue aisle and paper towel aisle wiped out. Nothing. Zero. Bleach gone, Lysol gone, wet wipes gone, you know, just gone. And the thing that got me, they weren't replenishing it. They weren't restocking it. And that's not to say that the store clerks weren't doing any work. They were working the other aisles, but they weren't replenishing those essentials. Now today, a little bit of a different story. I guess they got their trucks in last night, between late last night and early this morning. So there was a little bit of activity in that regard with them putting tissue back up and putting bleach back up and putting Lysol and stuff. Little neighborhood market we went to a couple hours ago called Banks Market in Paducah. They were, you know, replenishing the tissue and toilet paper aisle and, you know, getting the bleach back up and stuff like that. So that's, you know, that's a positive. But my point is, in the instances where the need is immediate and people are freaking, and we freak out anyway around here as it is, because if there's one snowflake on the ground in the middle of winter, there's a run on the bread aisle in the grocery stores, and there's a run on gas at the gas station. You know, it's like we're going to get 10 foot tomorrow or something, so I got to go to the store, I got to get bread, I got to get milk, I got to get eggs. We freaking out around here, you know. So naturally, people freak. And with the companies that remain here, like Walmart and like Sam's Club, who know how we are and how we react to things, especially to stuff like this, I would think it would be a behoovance to go ahead and refit and resupply as quickly as possible, so we're not running around here with our hair on fire. People aren't freaking out that there's no gas at their favorite gas station, or there's no eggs at their favorite grocery store, or there's no toilet tissue at their favorite bulk store. You know, for as long as those companies have been here, and know how Paducans are, Kentuckians are, with anything that would cause disruption or upheaval or chaos or cahoots or confusion. Okay, folks, we need a whole truck in here with nothing but tissue, or we need a whole truck in here with nothing but Clorox, or we need a whole truck in here with nothing but wet wipes, okay? It's done, you know? And people on the aisle, manning the aisle, putting out the product so that when the shoppers do come through, and they come through, it's there. So that was really the only drawback, and has been the only drawback. Now, as we get into this, I'm predicting that attitudes are going to change, and it's probably going to get volatile if there's not enough tissue, or if there's not enough bleach, or if people take too much, like, forgive me, but like the local grocery store I was telling you about, the community store, the Banks Market, they have a sign up already on their tissue and toilet paper aisle that limits 2 packages per customer. You know, what if somebody tries to grab 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, okay, and run out the store with it, you know? That's going to cause a problem. People are going to get upset, and things can get a little hostile around here. People get hot under the collar. They're mad anyway, and they stay mad a lot around here. But when things like that are in high demand and it's expected that that be there, and somebody walks out with more than their fair share, you can guarantee that there's going to be something said, and maybe that person gets their ass kicked before they get in their vehicle over getting too many packages of toilet tissue. So I worry about fights. I worry about altercations here, verbal altercations. Right now, like I said, it's civil, you know. People aren't in too much of an upheaval, but I worry as we progress here and more of these businesses close up because of this coronavirus, and more people are home, and tensions are high enough as it is, and you know, people get on people's nerves, whether you're family or not. You know, it's going to be a problem later on. So that's something that I predict will happen. But for right now, it's civil. So that's pretty good. You know, the other thing I worry about too is our elderly population. My mother and father are both over 70 years old. They're retired now. They've been retired for some time. Both diabetic. My father is a twice disabled veteran, veteran of the Vietnam War and of the U.S. Postal Service. Got hurt on the job twice working for the U.S. Postal Service. Had to be medically retired. Is diabetic. My mother's diabetic. They're both on insulin, on medication. So they're susceptible, highly susceptible to diseases and to infections and pneumonias and that. And I'm understanding that the way this works, it starts out kind of like a cold, and then it goes from a cold to like a flu, and then from like a flu to like a pneumonia, and then from like a pneumonia to like full-blown respiratory stuff. And you know, my mother and father, you know, are elderly, and so, and a great deal of the population here in Paducah, Kentucky, where I live, is over 65. So, you know, we got an issue with that. And so I worry about the older ones here, what they're going to do and how they're going to handle things, because, you know, their children are grown and married and out living their own lives and doing their own thing, and they're in and out, and they're not really interacting with mom and dad anymore. You know, not that they don't care, but, you know, people are gone and living their own lives and stuff. So those elderly folks are on their own. So I worry about that, and I worry about with my mother and father, you know, what they're going to do with that. The hospitals that are here and the health department that is here is good. They're both, you know, good hospitals and take fairly good care of older patients, and getting older patients well and getting them back home and leading normal lives fairly quickly, but, you know, they can only handle so much, you know, and do so much. And we do have an elderly population in this community, and it's predominant. There's a lot more older people than there are younger people or people my age. I'm 43, almost 44 years old, and, you know, there are not very many people my age in this community. So, you know, what are they going to do when they get overrun with that? So those are some things that I'm kind of concerned about and what I'm thinking about and pondering. I'd like to know what you guys think. When I post this video, comment, shout out, pro, con, you know, get me down the road. I appreciate you wouldn't get me down the road, but you can get me down the road if you want to. Just be nice about it. You know, but it's definitely a concerning time. I really and truly do not have any wholehearted faith in our government, especially in its current form with this. You know, Trump says that everything's copacetic, but I mean, 15,000 plus lies since he's took office. Not a very good record in my book, but anyhow, he says it's copacetic and they've got what they need to handle whatever. And supposedly, you know, now he's declared this thing a national emergency, and all these doors are going to swing open wide with the CDC and the World Health Organization and all of that. You know, here's the thing with that. While those places are good and worthy and do worthy work, they experiment. They're always coming up with strains and viruses and infectious diseases, combative and propositive, pro, con. You know, it's always a catch-22 with these people. And the way that I'm understanding it per a video that I watched here not too long ago from a group called Now This, and I encourage you to Google it. There was a doctor on there, a family physician from Toronto, Canada. His name was Lynn, and he was talking about the origination of this coronavirus being found in a live fish market in the Wuhan province of China from a tuna. China buys now 95-96% of its seafood from the United States of America. So that tuna, they were saying how the tuna, there was a man that bought a tuna, and the tuna had the virus in it that he bought. And it came from the United States of America, a shipment from the United States of America. China buys 95-96% of its seafood from us. So it came from our process. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a show that's on TV, a reality TV show called Wicked Tuna. It's pretty good, fishing show, and they want to talk to the guys, these Chinese state police investigators. They want to talk to the Wicked Tuna guys because supposedly they know for a fact that that tuna came from where those guys fish, and they seem to think that those guys one of those guys, or possibly somebody in the United States military, did something to infect the tuna. But the thing is it's just one tuna, and this one gentleman, whoever he was, that lived in Wuhan, that died from it, you know, only bought that one particular tuna. But it came from that part of the world, and so they have it in the back of their mind that somehow this is some sort of Western Hemisphere plot to wipe out Asian people and take over Asia. You know, I was reading about it the other day. Pretty fascinating and interesting stuff. But they were talking about it, and so the Chinese police, the federal police for over there, they want to talk to the wicked tuna guys. And the wicked tuna guys are like, man, we just catch the fish. What the fish market man does with it after that is his business. You know, we have nothing to do with it, you know. But we'll be happy to sit down and talk to anybody as long as we got a lawyer present and we know our rights. But the Chinese police, they're saying how they don't want any lawyers present, and they just want it to be between them and between the wicked tuna guys, and they're going to ask them a whole bunch of questions as to how they came about this tuna, what they did to the tuna, how they processed the tuna out, how they were paid, who paid them, who that person was, where that person took the tuna from, how they took the tuna, where they shipped it to, how they shipped it to, how it got over to Wuhan. And this is just one tuna fish. And I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So, but it's interesting too, because now they know where this has come from and how it's come, you know, maybe. And so they're trying to say that this was the Western Hemisphere's fault, in particular the United States of America's fault, and, you know, we're to blame for it. I'm kind of inclined to agree with them on a lot of that, just not all of it, because it's kind of weird that it's only one tuna, but yet it came from that part of the world, and so somehow it's some sort of plot. That's a little odd to me, that part anyway. But, you know, as Rachel Maddow says, watch this space. So that's, I guess, about all that I can think to say right now. Except I hope you guys stay safe, stay close to home, wash your hands, take your vitamins. Look, vitamin C, zinc, echinacea, magnesium, magnesium glyconate, potassium, osteobiflex, citracal, and melatonin are all good vitamins to take, and I highly recommend you take those vitamins, especially vitamin C, at 1,000 milligrams. Vitamin C at 1,000 milligrams. You've got to take it. It will help. It keeps colds down, it keeps flus down, it keeps pneumonia away. Get your shots. You go to the doctor, get your pneumonia shot, get your flu shot, get your hepatitis shots, your tetanus shots. Make sure all of your shots are up to date. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah, that stuff comes from the CDC and the World Health Organization and all that. And I talked about that with the strains and the viruses. And it's virus on virus on virus. But if you take those shots and you take the vitamins, they will counterbalance each other and help you. You will live better, you will live longer, you will live healthier, you will be healthier. So I highly recommend those vitamins. Vitamin C, zinc, echinacea, potassium, magnesium glyconate, okay, citrical, osteobiflex, cinnamon, chromium pinklinate, magnesium, turmeric. That's about all I can think of. Did I say melatonin? I'll say melatonin again. Melatonin, good sleep aid. 10 milligrams. Excellent. Good for sleeping. Highly, highly recommend it. Especially now, these days. Go to the store, go to the pharmacy. Go there and get those vitamins. Wash your hands. Stay home if you can. Stay indoors. Shelter in place, if you will. And just ride it out and do the best you can, guys, with what you got to do with. Because right now it's, you know, it's alright for now. But as we progress, I predict worse and worse things. So watch out, stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm, stay focused. Don't get into a bunch of stuff with people. Just do your thing. Get in, get out. If you can get to some place early and shop, do that. You know, avoid the rush, avoid the rush of people, the crowd of people as best you can, and get in and get out. Don't linger, you know, and just get back home and rest and relax and, you know, enjoy your family, you know. Play board games, Monopoly, Uno, Yahtzee, Scrabble, you know, watch movies. Excuse me. Things like that. There's all kinds of things you can do with family. God bless you guys, and y'all have a nice afternoon. Good to talk to you. Take care.